Well, welcome back, my friends all, to another rousing rendition of Choir Boys Outdoors. Listen, this is the Slayer. It's in Sleipner steel. I believe these are micarta handle scales. I could be wrong. We'll find out. They're either G10 or micarta. They're badass either way. Now, about a month or two ago, Mr. Mark reached out and he said, Scab, would you like to check out a design I have with Shaney? I said, man, absolutely, I would. So he reached out to Shaney. Shaney sent it to me. And let me just take 1 second. I'm not going to say Mark's last name. That's for him to do. But I do want to say thank you, man. Listen, guys, I am honored beyond belief when you guys do that. I can't tell you how much I appreciate you letting me break in your knife. I don't know that I would reciprocate the favor, but dude, thank you so much. And Shaney does just a masterful job. He is a good brother in the blade, and he can get it done. Now, let's talk about the knife. The Slayer, I love that name. The handle is one of my favorite parts. I haven't had much experience with Sleipner steel. Both times have been with Shaney. It's performed insanely well. Shaney made a Mac V Bowie knife that I have at Mike Emler's, Crazy Sharp. Emler's going to check it out, and he's going to sharpen it up, tune it up, and send it back. So be looking for him. Shout out to Emler's at Crazy Sharp. This knife is just a beast. It's a beast in every way imaginable. Razor sharp, razor ass sharp. And that's what we're showing up front. And well done, well balanced. Let me go ahead and give you guys the specs, and we'll get that out of the way. I hope everybody's doing good and having a great week. The overall length, now this is from tip to the bottom of the pommel, is right at 17 and 7/16. Let's try to be as accurate as we can. 17 and 7/16. Now I am pulling these measurements. The blade length is 11.5. The cutting edge is right at 10.5. It does have a choil. It is, the blade stock is, let's see here, boys and girls, 1/4 inch thick, and it is wicked. One thing I wanted to do, the handle length, the overall handle, now, is 6 inches. That is the scales alone. To the bottom of the pommel is 6 1/4. The inner grip on this sumbitch is 4 5/8. Monstrous inner grip. But I want to do a couple things. The handle thickness across the back, is right at 7/8 inches, but the handle width at the palm swell is 1 5/8. Massive handle, a lot to work with there. Now, the blade width at its widest point looks to be about 2 3/16. And again, guys, I like pulling my own measurements, especially with a custom job like this. Now, it has some nice jimping behind it. It does come with a choil. It has a lanyard hole, but it also has a wig splitter on it. The thing that I've noticed about Shaney is this. It doesn't matter if he's making something like this, I would use it. You know, people say a machete, it's 1/4 inch thick. If you want to call it that, cool. It's got a nice recurve. This to me is a bush knife, right? Or a camp knife. There's a lot that you can do with this. You can build a house with it. You can knock a house down with it. It is just a monster. The balance point sits right above the choil. Well done. What I was going to say is Shaney, there are tools, right? Knives are tools. That's the way I always look at it. And they're also weapons. To me, Shaney is a weapons maker. What do I mean by that? He makes a knife that's well balanced, razor sharp, and if you needed to fight with it. Now, guys, one thing I try to have on this channel is common sense, right? No, there's no knife fighting anymore. You might stab somebody. You might get stabbed. The odds of you getting in an all-out knife fight, you know, is slim to none. And if you do, in this day and age, son, you're going to be famous because every swinging dick on the planet, instead of trying to help, you'll be filming it. But if you were going to knife fight, this would be a great one. The weight feels amazing. Now watch this. This is just an old piece of oak. I'm going to be quiet and let's listen to it slap. That thing hits hard, man. I believe this is a log that Kirk and I actually split, went half and half. Here's the thing. The handle to me, and I want to make this clear, the handle to me size-wise is reminiscent of a machete. So if you're wondering how it fits in hand, it feels like a machete. Now, having those handle scales there, and I know I'm going to be wrong, it's like a waffled G10. Shaney or Mark, man, y'all let me know what it is. Either way, it's incredibly comfortable. Now here's Kirk. Like I said, we split this. We wanted to do it. He wanted to mess with it some too. Kirk uses a machete every single day of his life. So this was perfect. Now, there was no blade damage. There was no chipping. The only time I've ever chipped or nicked one of Shaney's blades is when my dumbass hit some concrete in the swamp on accident, and it was minuscule. Shaney does an amazing job, not only with the edge geometry, threw that in for PBKG, but he also does a phenomenal heat treat. And this thing is wicked, man. It just hits hard. I have one that was gifted to me by Jacob Lamb that's called the Amazon. That review will be coming this week. It reminds me a lot. It's different steel, but the handle's a lot the same. I adore this handle. You can get plenty of grip, and you can really, really bite into it. Now, Kirk is ambidextrous. I am not, but we wanted to take a minute and go through this law. Why? Because I want to show you the whole knife work. You know, we could have sped this up. We could have done a lot of stuff, but I wanted you to get a real feel for how much work this knife put in. I stabbed a tire at the beginning of the video. This isn't a monster tire stabber. It'll do it, and it'll do it well, and I was out of position. But if you would notice, or if you'll go back to that segment, because what I'm doing is, as I go down to pull or saw with the knife, every time I go down, when I pull up, that thing just shreds it. I mean, it's wicked. So if you need to stab a tire, you can. If you need to cut a tree down, you can. But again, I envision this as a bush knife. This would be something I would have no problem taking camping or going out in the swamp and just wreaking havoc. Good look at the edge there. Now again, just some oak. What we wanted to do was put the blade to work. We showed you the sharpness. Just wanted to show you a bunch of chopping. We do some batoning with it. Now, you don't have to baton, and typically in real life, I don't baton. But batoning is something I do with certain knives just to see how the edge holds up. And you'll notice with me, when I'm chopping in a video, if I'm chopping in a short, typically it's for time to try to get it under that 1 minute. If I'm chopping in a video, it's a lot of different things. I want to see how the knife feels in hand. Does my knife slip or does my hand slip? Is there any shock? How does my hand absorb the shock? How well does that handle work? This handle, I am in love with. Now, I love Shaney's work. So am I biased? Probably. And I've got zero pride. I'd rather be honest with you and sit here instead of sitting here and trying to tell you for 30 minutes how honest I am. That's why we show the knife work. If there's a problem with it, you see it. Because I am biased. When I find a maker and a guy who knows what he's doing, I want to review all this stuff. Why? Because it's fun. Good God. I'm not going to sit here and go, well, you know, no, it's fun. I had a blast doing this. Kirk had a blast doing this. I don't know why I got my socks pulled up to my knees there, but I enjoyed doing it. We did some batoning. Like I said, I wouldn't normally do it. Unless I'm just kind of camp dicking around, and then I might. But with a knife like this, I would use to maybe clear a place for my tent, maybe cut a trail, build a fire. Oh, good handwork there by Scabber. I'd use it for a lot of things. And someone asked me, said, Scab, what else would you do with this besides maybe bushcraft and I can't remember what else it was. I'd have fun with it. I mean, that's the thing. I'm at an age and a place in my life, man, where yes, I want to show you the knife work. Yes, I want to be upfront with you. And yes, I want to take it seriously when it comes to building a channel. But I also want to have fun. Because if I'm miserable, everybody else is going to be miserable, right? So I'm going to play with it. I'm going to chop with it. I'm going to do these things with it. If this was mine, I would probably take it out in the swamp and see if I could build a shelter with it. I do some of that, guys. I just don't show it because I don't have the means to really film it. And I already look stupid enough half the time as it is. But I might coming up here this winter. I got a lot of plans. Would I carry it? Oh my God. This thing is a dream to use. Think about all the chopping. Think about all the batoning. Think about all the cutting we did. And it's still going. Guys, let me get to this. There was a time in this country where 22 veterans a day took their own lives. Now, stats are everywhere. They run from 15 to about 35. That's why here on this channel, we focus on the number 0. Anything over the number 0 is simply unacceptable. Vets, I love you. We love you. You have a place here. That's all that means. You're welcome here. I back the blue. I don't ask anybody else to do it. I don't try to shove it down your throat or make a bunch of reasons. Something that's important to me. Finally, if you are an addict, and I am, about 4.5 years clean, never quit quitting. The Slayer. Mark, thank you. Shaney, you killed it. I'm Scab. You're not. I'm gone, son. Love you.